To a great labor leader for the state of Connecticut, a great political leader, a man who is never afraid to speak truth to power, loudly if necessary, President of the state AFL-CIO, John Olsen.
Thank you, Andy. Good afternoon, brothers and sisters and friends. I want to first thank U.S. Labor Against the War for being in the forefront of this movement within the labor movement. It's historical that we've been able to pass resolutions at the Connecticut AFL-CIO, as well as the National AFL-CIO, Central Labor Councils, and across this country. So I want to thank U.S. Labor Against the War for their pioneering and bringing this issue to the forefront of the labor movement. I've been asked to talk about the cost of the war. And what we're looking at, the cost is 2,300 men and women dead, 18,000 injured, 100,000 Iraqis dead. We're seeing right now that we're at an all-time low as far as our standing as the United States in the world. These costs are because of a man who decided to go to war. And we could do so many things if we're looking at the nearly $500 billion that's been spent in this city alone to help our children, our mothers and fathers, rebuild our infrastructure. These are jobs that we could have here in the United States to make this a great nation again. But we also have a cost of morality, and we see so many of the religious leaders that are here, and I want to thank them for being here. And I don't want to be offensive because I know it's difficult sometimes to speak about religion. But I am a Catholic, I am a Christian. And I'm offended by President Bush. When he spoke in a campaign, he was asked who his favorite philosopher was. He said Jesus. For any Christian, that's an offense, because how could you ever refer to the Son of God as a philosopher? He also talked about, in a time of need, he would talk to Jesus and ask Jesus what he would do. I assume when he was governor of the state of Connecticut, when it was time to execute a mentally retarded man, he'd ask Jesus what he would do. And Jesus, I assume, told him to execute the mentally retarded man. Also, there was a born-again that was on, a woman, the first woman in over 100 years to be executed in Texas. Again, he asked, what should he do? And he executed her. You know, President Bush is a defender of the unborn. I assume so the unborn could be born, neglected for 13, 14 years, then tried as an adult and executed. That's the kind of moral structure we see. Also, at the same time in this war, he asked Jesus, what should I do? And went in and decided to go to war. Well, as a Christian, I studied and I looked a little bit at my Bible and I figured out what's wrong here. Obviously, Bush isn't talking to Jesus, he's talking to Barabbas. But I tell you, what we can do here today, most importantly, is to show our voices are united against this war. And more importantly, there was a woman in the labor movement, Mother Jones. And what she said is, mourn the dead, but fight like hell for the living. And let me say this. We have 18,000 of our troops that are coming back home in desperate need of help. And I'll tell you, instead of spending all the money over there, we've got to find a way to fund our VA hospitals, give them the kind of treatment they deserve and need, and turn it around this Memorial Day, rather than go to cemeteries, we ought to go and see the veterans who've been wounded and injured and give them the kind of support they've earned and they deserve. That's where we stand. God bless you all. Thank you for coming here today.